Reading have recently found the form that saw them make a late challenge for a playoff place last season under Brian McDermott. Their opponents in the late Saturday match were Norwich, who went into the weekend fixtures in the top six. Your commentator, John Roden.
Taken down by Holt, bringing in Russell Martin. Corey Smith is ahead of him, here he is. Russell Martin has again made the run forward, and the defender held off him, and Russell Martin scores for Norwich. Hesitation there in the Reading defence, and Norwich made them pay. Martin combining wonderfully here with Corey Smith, and you can see Kizanishvili. What does he do? Does he go to the ball, or does he mark the man? Didn't really do either, and that's a fine finish from Russell Martin. Howard. Poor ball for Church. You can hear the frustration from the Reading supporters. Feel it's not quite going their team's way at the moment. Chris Martin hustling and harrying. Holt is in here. It's the second goal for Norwich. What an opportunistic goal from Grant Holt. Chasing down the back pass. Got there first, and it's a very, very tight angle. Excellent finish. Reading need a goal back. Howard with the corner kick. Cleared off the line and tucked away. They do get a goal back. It's an instant reply, and it's Ian Hart who has tucked it away from close range. Chris Martin behind it. Driven well. Oh, what a good goal that is. Through the gap in the wall and just beyond Federici. And Norwich restore their two-goal advantage. And the flag stays down. It's Grant Holt. He's in behind the Reading defenders once more. Federici this time with the save. Maybe even more than two. That's a free kick. That's a foul by Holt on Hart. It's going to be... Oh, it's a red card. Grant Holt is sent off. Oh, does he jump in? Referee has a good view of it. And Norwich, 3-1 up, are one man down. Now, is it going to be a virtual siege of the Norwich goal in this second half? What a shot that is! Pushed onto the post. Fantastic save from Ruddy. Hit with some pace and power by Church. And Ruddy just gets a touch to it. Back enough. Faced by Fox. Just is enough. Here's Hart. Away by Ward. Plenty of height in that central defensive partnership of Barnett and Ward for Norwich. Through by Karachan. Hunt! 3-2! He's clearly onside. And all of Reading's possession in this second half pays dividends. What a match at the Medeski. Reading through again. It's a penalty. Long trying to go through a gap between two defenders. Reading supporters hoping and praying for a goal, and they've got it as well. Shane Long makes it 3-3. Relentless Reading pressure. Hart hits it long. Fallen here for Shane Long. Might drop here. McAnuff, excellent block.
Burnley boss Brian Laws has said he'll spend cautiously in January after the club recorded profits of £14 million this week. The visitors to Turf Moor were Watford, whose excellent away form this season has evaporated recently. They've been beaten in the last three on the road before this one, and they were beaten in the air twice here as Burnley took the lead. Adrian Mariappa furious he couldn't prevent Chris Iwelumo from scoring his 9th of the season. But Watford old boy Clark Carlisle did his former team a favour as communications broke down between him and Wade Elliott. It would have been even more embarrassing if Don Cowie had missed this golden chance, but he didn't. And whoever's up there, we hope you're taking notice. A 1-0 deficit had turned into a 2-1 lead after half-time. No one challenging Martin Taylor. Almost an hour gone, but the pendulum was about to swing again. Chris Eagles was another one who spent some time with the Hornets, a 5-month loan spell from Manchester United in 2006. This time Watford were the ones guilty of slack marking as Eagles found Wallace, who found the net. 2-2. And the Clarets' comeback was complete 7 minutes later. Taylor a bit too hands-on with Jay Rodriguez for referee Chris Sargenson's liking. And if you're wondering just how to take a no-nonsense pressure penalty, this is how it's done. Unstoppable from Graham Alexander. That's 3 goals for him this campaign, all from the spot, and Burnley move up to 6th.
Roy Keane refused to take the bait this week when criticised by former Ipswich captain John Walters, preferring to concentrate on the job in hand, the visit of Barnsley to Portman Road. Town were beaten at home by Derby during the week, but almost made a flying start. Luke Steele with the slightest of touches to deflect Tamas Priskin's effort onto the bar. The Tykes finally won away from home during the week at Preston, the first time this season, and they took the lead thanks to Goran Lovra here, the Serbian's first goal for the club. But in Adam Hamill, Barnsley have one of the most exciting attacking players in the Championship. He'll get all the credit for his side's second. Goalkeeper Martin Fuller will get the unwanted goal credit. And with just 1 win in 15 away games, Barnsley couldn't believe their luck when Gary O'Connor waltzed through a non-existent Ipswich defence, 3-0. Not much seems to faze Roy Keane, but he might have been concerned to hear Ipswich fans ironically cheering every Barnsley pass towards the end of the game. Tommy Smith's late header provided scant consolation. 3-1 it finished.
The last league meeting between these two was back in 1979 when Bristol City left Ellen Road with a 3-1 win. 31 years later, Keith Millen's side arrived full of confidence after rising out of the relegation zone in midweek. But the best chance of the first half fell to Leeds' David Sommer, David James reaffirming his reputation as a fine shot stopper. It was Sommer's replacement who dominated this game. Luciano Becchio introduced on the hour mark. 6 minutes later, he put his side in front, rising above Nicky Hunt. But it owed a lot to the pinpoint delivery from Robert Snodgrass. The lead didn't last long, though. Just 2 minutes later, in fact, Albert Adoma made George McCartney look like the fall guy, quite literally, whereas the rest of the Leeds defence did their best impression of statues as Jonathan Stead sneaked in to score his second goal in as many games. Suddenly, the game had sprung to life, and it would swing back in the home side's favour when Becchio reacted quickest to fellow substitute Lloyd Sam's fierce effort. Still needed the finish, though. James appealing for offside, to no avail, but it seems that a lot of love in Leeds for Luciano. Sam was involved again in the build-up for the third, a nice decoy to create the space for McCartney. Becchio evading his markers to complete a 17-minute hat-trick with a flourish. It's a third win in 4 to move Leeds up to 5th in the table, but the result condemns the Robins to their first defeat in 6 matches.
Doncaster brought all sorts of characters with him on a long trip down from Yorkshire, but it's the Pompey fans who've needed reasons to be cheerful in the last 18 months, and the club's future is still uncertain after chairman Balram Channerai announced this week that he isn't the man to take the club forward. But 6 games unbeaten at Fratton Park, Pompey are starting to look like genuine promotion contenders. But they were caught cold early in this one. James Hayter could hardly miss, his 4th in as many games. This was Donny's first trip to Portsmouth in 28 seasons. They've never won at Fratton Park, but when another break saw James Coppinger double their lead midway through the first half, that record looked likely to end. But Sean O'Driscoll's men hadn't kept a clean sheet away from home all season. On the home side were given hope thanks to excellent work from John Utaka, substitute Joel Ward, the grateful beneficiary. But Portsmouth piled on the pressure. Again, Utaka couldn't be shackled, but Neil Sullivan looked every one of his 40 years spilling a routine cross, and David Nugent eventually made it 2-2. But the game wasn't finished there. David Healy scored in his Doncaster debut last weekend. Pompey were punished. But the match would end on a sour note as frustrations boiled over. Carl Dickinson's thunderous tackle on James Hayter earned him a straight red card. And Pompey's impressive home run comes to an end.
I think it should have been our free kick just before it. I think Healy gets him sent off. He all of a sudden turned brave. I haven't known him that brave before.
It was high, and you know, James Hayter's jumped out of the way. So, you know, the referee goes on, you know, does he have to break his leg before he puts a red card up? Not really. I don't think anybody, you know, you're trying to stamp out tackles like that.
So Cardiff return to the top of the Championship. Those wins for Leeds and Burnley lift them both 3 places and into the playoff positions. Crystal Palace's win takes them off the bottom. That dubious honour goes to Preston, who lost on Friday night to Hull City. In League One, David Seaman was at London Road to watch his former club Peterborough host promotion rivals Charlton. The former England keeper at his best would have struggled to keep out the rampant addicts. Scott Wagstaff earned the penalty. Johnny Jackson scored from the kick. Charlton were looking for a 4th successive league win, and they were further ahead 10 minutes later. Lee Martin's strong run set up Terry Rackham. Posh were beaten 3-0 by leaders Brighton in their last home match. The unhappy memories returned as Jackson added another for the visitors. And Charlton weren't going to stop there. Martin was on target to make it 4-0 before half-time. There was one brief moment of respite for Peterborough, this free kick from Grant McCann. But Lewin Nyatanga's mistake let in Martin. It meant a repeat of the scoreline the last time these teams met 16 years ago, 5-1. The win catapults Charlton above Peterborough into 2nd place. Brighton suffered their first league defeat since August at the hands of Hartlepool. The win lifts Hartlepool 4 places to 14th. Dagenham and Redbridge beat Yeovil and rise above them in the relegation places. In League Two, Burton fans were probably not expecting their first away win of the season when they went to Chesterfield, who'd yet to lose at home this campaign. But the Brewers made the most of a defensive mix-up to take the lead through James Collins. They held that lead until the final minute of the half. Derek Niven's wayward shot bounced in off Adam Boulder, although Niven was happy to claim it. Having hauled his team back into the match, Scotsman Niven then let his teammates down. His challenge on John McGrath earned a red card. And the Brewers went on to record an unlikely success when sub Sean Harrod hit the winner with 6 minutes to go. It finished 2-1 to Burton. Chesterfield stay top of League Two as Port Vale could only draw at Northampton. Shrewsbury also drew, while Wickham beat Bradford, the team managed by their former boss Peter Taylor. Barnet and Hereford both drew their matches and remained at the bottom of the Football League. Our goal of the week comes from League One. 18-year-old forward Dale Jennings scored the only goal of the game for Tranmere as they beat Plymouth. It's a name you might hear a lot more of in the future. Next week on the show, Nottingham Forest take on the new Championship leaders, Cardiff. And Sheffield United look to follow up their win when they take on fellow strugglers Crystal Palace. We'll see you then.